Hello, I'm Liao. Welcome back to Evan of Code 2023, where we are solving programming challenges every day until the Christmas day, and we are on day 6. 6. And today, let's see what is the challenge awaits for us. Well, day 6 is called Wait for It. The ferry quickly brings you across Island. After asking around, you discover that there is indeed normally a large pile of sand somewhere near here, but you don't see anything besides lots of water and a small island where the ferry has docked. As you try to figure out what to do next, you notice a poster on a wall near the ferry dock. Boat races, open to public. Grand prize is an all expenses paid trip to Desert Island. That must be where the sand comes from. Best of all, the boat races are starting in just a few minutes. You manage to sign up as a competitor in the boat races just in time. The organizer explains that it's not really a traditional race. Instead, you will get a fixed amount of time during which your boat has to travel as far as it can, and you win if your boat goes the furthest. As part of signing up, you get a sheet of paper, which is your puzzle input, that lists the time allowed for each race and also get the best distance ever recorded in that race. To guarantee you win the grand prize, you need to make sure you go farther in each race than the current record holder. The organizer brings you over to an area where the boat races are held. The boats are much smaller than you expected. They're actually toy boats, each with a big button on top. Holding down the button charges the boats, and releasing the button allows the boat to move. Boats move faster if their button was held longer, but time spent holding the button counts against the total race time. You can only hold the button at the start of the race, and the boat don't move until the button is released. So for example, this is the sheet. This document describes 3 races. So the first race lasts 7 milliseconds. Record distance in this race is 9 milliliters. Second race is 15 milliseconds and the record is 40 millimeters. Third is 30 milliseconds and 200 milliliters. A toy boat has a starting speed of 0 milliliters per millisecond. For each whole milliseconds you spend at the beginning of the race holding down the button, the boat speed increases by 1 milliliter per millisecond. So, because the first race lasts 7 milliseconds, you only have a few options. Don't hold the button at all. Hold it for 0 milliseconds. Then your boat won't move. You will have traveled 0 milliliters by the end of the race. Hold boat by 1 milliseconds at the start of the race, then the boat will travel at the speed of 1 milliliter per millisecond. So for the next 6 milliseconds, you travel for 6 milliliters. If you hold for 2 milliseconds, then it has the speed of 2 millimeters per millisecond. So the remaining 5 milliseconds, 7 minus 2 is 5. You can travel 2 milliseconds times 2 milliliters times 5, you get 10 milliliters. If you hold for 3 milliseconds, remaining 4 milliseconds, you can travel at the speed of 3 milliliters per millisecond, then you get 12, right? And then so on and so forth, right? So you can hold the most is 7 milliseconds, which is the entire duration of the race. You never let go of the button, then the boat can't move until you let go of the button, but it has no more time for you to move, so you move 0 milliliters. Since the current record for this race is 9 milliliters, there are actually 4 different ways you can win. You could hold the button for 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? Which is 10, 12, 12, and 10 milliliters at the start of the race. And the second race, you can hold the button for at least 4 milliseconds to at most 11 milliseconds, which are a total of 8 different ways to win. In the third race, you could hold for, same thing. So you get to see how the margin of error you have determine the number of ways you can beat the record in each race. So this example, you have 4, 8, and 9, and you multiply these values together, you get 288. So determine the number of ways you could beat the record in each race. What do you get if you multiply these numbers together? Okay, so this is the puzzle that we're gonna solve. Let's start. So first thing first is we are gonna create the file. Right, day 6. So all the code over here, you can actually find it on GitHub, and the link is in the description. So as usual, we will have input, and then for now we just want to try it out. We're gonna copy this input, this as the input, and we are going to see whether we get the same answer as described. Okay, so we need to parse the input first. So we are going to split with new lines, and we have two lines, right? So first is the time, second is the distances. Okay, we have two lines. We split it out, and then for each lines we are going to match out numbers. We're gonna use the match all to give us all the numbers. So the times is equals to time dot match all digits, which is this is numbers, digits, match all, and we're gonna spread it into an array because this is an iterable. We're gonna make it an array, and we're gonna, so this array is array of matches. It's similar where you do the string dot match, and so the match array is actually an array where you can say where we're gonna get the first item because we don't have the capture group, so we're gonna get the first elements of the match array. So we're gonna map it out for each of the matches. So this is the first number, right? And because it's a string, we're gonna turn in a number. We just we wrap it with number to get the number. Okay, so we're gonna do the same thing with distance, and I think that maybe we can also instead of just split, we can do it over here as well. Map each line. Actually, we are gonna do this over here instead. So each line returns this array. This is the line. So so when we split our input and map each of the line to an array of matched numbers. So here the times and distances are both arrays where we can get the time for each race and the distance for each race. Right? So to loop through, we're gonna use for let I less than times dot length I plus plus. So the time is for each race is the times I, and the distance for the race is distances I. Okay. After getting the time and distance, next thing is we're gonna figure out how many ways we can win the race. Okay. So there basically, if the time is 7 milliseconds, right, then we're gonna iterate from 0 to 7 to figure out each of this whether is each of this time to hold onto the boat, which of them we calculate the distance for each of them, and then figure out which of the distance is longer than the record distance over here. So to do that, I'm gonna iterate through. So let time to hold equals 0, and then time to hold is less than equals to the time to hold plus plus, and then I'm going to calculate the distance travel based on the time to hold, and then if the distance travel is less than greater, there are actually 4 different ways you can hold. Hold on, we need to, in order to win, go farther in each race than the current record holder, right? So if it's distance travel greater than the distance, then we can ways to win increase, right? We're gonna, for this race, let ways to win, we start with 0, and then we increment this, and then the final thing that we need to get is to multiply all the different ways to win for each races. So we're gonna start with answer equals to 1, because we're gonna multiply. Anything multiply 1 is 1 itself. Anything is itself. So we can start with 1 first, and then we keep multiplying. Good. Ways to win. Answer times equals to ways to win, and then the answer is answer. Okay, we're gonna print out the answer and we're gonna see the answer. Of course, we haven't figured out what's the relationship between the time to hold to the distance travel, right? So so based on the time to hold, we have the longer, if we hold on 0 milliseconds, then our speed is 0, right? So basically this the time to hold is essentially the speed itself, right? I can say speed is time to hold, right? The longer I hold, the more speed I have. But then the time remaining, right? The time remaining for me to travel is actually the race time minus this time to hold, right? So it's the time minus time to hold. Okay, and then so the the distance traveled is actually the speed times the time remaining. Okay, if you yeah, so if you want to simplify it, it's actually time to hold times the time minus time to hold. Okay, so this is the relationship, right? So the remaining time is the time remaining, and then times the speed, and then we know the distance. So let's try run this and see whether we get this right, the same answer. So today's day is 6, puzzle 1, and then we get 288, and this is the same as well. So let's try to get the puzzle itself and try to run with the actual puzzle input. Save this, try to run it. Okay, 320676. Gonna paste it in and I submit. And yes, we get the right answer. So we got one more star down, and we are going for the next star for this day. Continue to part 2. As the race is about to start, you realize the piece of paper with race times and record distance you got earlier actually just has a very bad kerning. There's really only one race. Ignore the spaces between the number of each line. Oh no. Okay, so the example from before, this is actually the time, and this is actually the distance. Okay, oh no. So now you have to figure out how many ways there is to win this single race. In this example, the race lasts for this long, and the record distance you need to beat is this distance. You can hold on to the button anywhere from 14. To beat the record, there's this number of ways. So how many ways you can beat the record in this one much longer race? So first is we need the times and distance is different now. There's only one time and there's only one distance. Okay, so there's only one time, there's only one distance. So here I am gonna remove this loop. Oh, sorry. Let me copy this out. Okay, this is our puzzle 2. And here we are going to take out the time and distance. We're gonna reuse this code as much as we can, because this logic is probably the same unless it's not efficient enough. But let's try and see whether it works. So here we remove this for loop, right? And then technically the answer is the ways to win. We just print out this instead. And yeah, so we need to get the time and the distance, right? So here, the time and distance, same thing. After we split every line, we need just to process the line. So for each line here, what we can do is that we are going to remove whatever it's in front of the this part. I think we can do also regular expressions. We match or we just find the index of this colon, and then we remove we take whatever it's left on the right, and then replace all the space away, and then convert the rest as numbers. Okay, so here I would say line slice line index of colon +1, because we don't need this colon. So this should slice out this string over here. And then with this, we are going to replace away all the white space away to empty string. And then here we left with the string, which is probably just the numbers. And we are going to turn this into number like this. Okay, so let's delete this, and that's all. Okay, let's try and run and see whether it works. Oops, sorry. Okay, we get another number. I think this looks promising. Let's throw it in and see what we get. Submit. And yay, we got it. It's a right answer. So we solved day 6. We got 2 more stars today, and we are going to head over day 7. So we are going to see you in the next video. Bye bye.